Video. Nihilism, the rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. Does that sound like a pretty defeating prospect to you? Let me paint another picture. You're 3 years old. Your parents enroll you in kindergarten like their parents before them, their grandparents before them, and as many generations back as they can remember. You get the picture. You blink a couple of times, and you're at a suffocating high school desk. You hear the words powerhouse of the cell thrown around, and suddenly you're in your 4th year of university. And as you stand under that graduation cap, the one you've dreamed about since as far back as you can remember, the cap you told yourself would mean you're done, you've made it, you realize you're nowhere close to the finish line. Following this, almost 60% of people end up in 9-to-5 jobs, convincing themselves that when they make just a little more money, they'll start enjoying life. We know how that story ends. It doesn't. Look at the person in the Zoom window next to yours. They're a miracle. Look at your own video. You're a miracle. For example, let's talk math. A calculation done by Dr. Ali Benazir revealed that the probability of your parents simply meeting was 1 in 20,000. The probability of your mom and dad actually doing the dirty is 1 in 2,000. The chances of that particular sperm meeting that particular egg, 1 in 400 quadrillion. We are somehow living creatures made up of millions of dead things ranging from cell organelles to gray matter. The Earth has been around for about 4.5 billion years, and we've only been here for about 200,000 of those. The world survived just fine without us, and will likely do so in the future. Our ancestors were as self-obsessed as we are today. They believed that the trees grew to feed us, the sun shone simply for our own tanning needs, and the seasons changed just so that we could revamp our own wardrobes. This was, however, until science made it apparent that this wasn't for us. It just was. So let's look at our Get Over Yourself checklist. Your life plans look just like everyone else's. You're essentially made up of a bunch of dead stuff. You're a tiny, tiny blip in history. Our solar system doesn't revolve around us, and nature doesn't live to serve you. We have an abundance of freedom. If you, me, and the world simply just exist, we don't owe anyone anything. Purpose, authority, and subordination are simply just social constructs. Any authority we turn to, our parents, teachers, the government, your shrink, are simply just people who exist with no more knowledge or purpose than the next person. Humans can't handle this much freedom, so we create societies, enact rules, and mandate 12 years of standardized schooling, when in essence, these law enforcers are no different from the rest of us. We live in a solar system amongst other solar systems, in a galaxy amongst other galaxies that make up a supercluster, our supercluster being one in thousands of others. There's going to come a day when you would cease to exist. All the dead particles you were once made up of will be useless. You will be useless. So useless that you'll eventually just wither away. It'll be like you never existed. And yet, for the billionth time, the trees will produce food for someone else. The sun will come out for another to tan under, and the seasons will change for a less fashionable person to steal your winter wardrobe. The world will go on. So let's check back into our Get Over Yourself checklist. We create rules because the amount of freedom each individual truly has is incomprehensible. Among 1,000 superclusters, you're about as insignificant as a single strand of hair on your head. And finally, something you should remind yourself more often, you are going to die. But you are alive today and right now. So to counter the existential crisis that the last few minutes probably brought you, we introduce optimistic nihilism. Optimistic nihilism is the idea that the universe has no purpose or principle. So if it has no values, make your own. If societal norms are just an abstract concept, wear your pajamas to work and eat breakfast for dinner. Laugh till your stomach aches, stare at the stars till your eyes start seeing double, and get that degree in cannabis cultivation. Rather than allowing the pressures of life to weigh you down, rather than letting a failed exam mean your life as you know it is over, remind yourself that in the grand scheme of things, you don't matter, because tomorrow you won't be remembered. Thank you.